Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are covering now the latest developments in Gaza Strip and the West Bank. As part of Egypt's efforts to alleviate the burdens on Palestinians suffering due to the two-year Israeli war, a 99th aid convoy began entering the Gaza Strip through Rafah border crossing on Monday. The convoy was carrying urgent humanitarian aid to the Palestinian territory. Officials at Rafah border crossing said the shipment also includes badly needed medical supplies, which the Palestinian Red Crescent was demanding to address the humanitarian crisis in the Strip. To shed more light on the latest developments in Gaza Strip and the West Bank, we had the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of Political Science. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, sir, today Egypt is the 99th convoy of humanitarian aid is entering into Gaza Strip. How do you weigh Egypt's supportive stance to the Palestinian question in the to cure the humanitarian crisis?
Of course, Egypt has been exerting a great deal of effort to help the Palestinians through humanitarian aid, and before that the diplomatic efforts culminated in a ceasefire, despite the fact that there are some violations of this ceasefire. But Egypt is exerting all its diplomatic efforts to move to the second phase of the peace plan agreed upon by the international community in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes, Dr. Wagih, also despite the ceasefire, still the Israeli occupation troops are violating and breaching the ceasefire agreement that in its first phase, actually, they did not even start the second phase. How did you see this?
I think this is a violation against the whole international community, because what was decided, it was decided by the will of the international community and with the leading effort by President Trump, and who really forged this plan, and Israel should abide by it. So I think this is outrageous violations, actually.
Yes, Dr. Wagih, Egypt was from the first moment against the displacement of Palestinians. Also, how did you read Egypt's stance? And also President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also warned from the displacement of the Palestinian people, saying it would result in the liquidation of the Palestinian question.
Yes, of course, Egypt's red lines are very clear for the Israelis and for the entire world, and no, Egypt will never allow any displacement to happen on the account of their sovereignty, in our sovereignty and our land. And of course, the whole world listened reasonably and acted positively, because that was a very reasonable and very fair-minded thinking by Egypt towards that bloody conflict and towards this brutal occupation.
Yes, Dr. Wagih, also Egypt was against the division of Gaza Strip. I mean, the occupation forces were trying, or the Israeli government trying to divide Gaza Strip to the green area and the white one. And give us an idea about this and the negative side of this.
Of course, Egypt against any divisive effort by the Israelis. The Israelis wanted to establish Gaza as East Gaza and West Gaza, and this is totally rejected by the will of the international law and by the will of the international community. And of course, it is not only dividing Gaza. They are working very hard these days to divide, to make divisions even in the West Bank. This is why Britain condemned it, through establishing of settlements, of course, and outposts that are really increasing in a very unbelievable pace, so as also to come up with divisioning West Bank. And this would impact definitely the proposal of establishing two-state solution.
Yes.
And I think that the international community is reacting to that now.
Yes. Actually, you've mentioned a very important part, which is the West Bank. Also, Egypt is against the separation of Gaza Strip from the West Bank and is trying to make the Palestinian Authority take over or be back to its control of Gaza Strip and the West Bank.
Yes, as you have said, that is right. And also, if we can look at what's happening now, there should be some decisive steps to be taken by the international community, because if you look at what's happening in Gaza, everybody have already watched out for the tens of thousands who were really killed and injured. But now in the West Bank, there is settlers who really killed about more than 1,000 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, and also including also East Jerusalem.
Yes.
Also injured about 11,000 people over there, and they detained 21,000. And these numbers only in the few months ago. And I think that these are mentioned by the British media and the New York Times.
Yes.
So where in the world should be more decisive to intervene. Yes. And as I have said before, you know, when the apartheid was in South Africa, statements and the rhetoric and condemnation didn't work out. What did work out over there was, against the apartheid, was the investment and also boycotting and the sanctions. There should be these three elements to be there so as to force the violators who are really making violations not against anyone, but against the entire world now and the will of the entire world.
Yes, Dr. Wagih, Gaza Health officials said on Monday that the Palestinian death toll in Israeli war of aggression rose to 70,937. What is the echo of this number or death toll on the international organizations, on the UN, on the Europe? Give us an idea about how this huge and unbelievable number, and of course the death toll is of course more than this, because there are many Palestinians dead under the rubbles.
Yes, so the United Nations issued many statements clarifying this point and condemning what is happening in the occupied territories. Also, what happened, we all know that the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court both really condemned what is happening, and there are resolutions, and as I've said, it needs only to be decisively implemented, and this needs an international move in that direction. That's it.
Yes. Dr. Wagih, Israeli occupation authorities have demolished a 4-story residential building near the old city of Jerusalem. How did you see this aggression?
Actually, this aggression is clearly stated that against the international law, against the international resolution, and now we are watching out for 130 outposts and encampments being established, and about 6,000 Sudan is being stolen from the Palestinians, and prohibiting the Palestinians to come near to that. And I think, as I said, the same answer. The answer is 3 words: boycotting, divestment, and sanctions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Dr. Wagih, the Israeli occupation forces have approved the establishment of 19 new settlements in the occupied West Bank, part of its rapid expansion. So what is your intake on this and its repercussions?
I have already answered this question, and I said that these are violations, very outrageous violations against the international law, against the international resolution, and there should be decisive moves to be taken, and that's it.
Yes, these are the 19 settlements that have been approved by the Israeli occupation forces. Dr. Wagih, a large number of countries around the world have recognized the Palestinian state. What is the importance of this? On the ground, how can we see the reflect of this on the ground and the positive side of it?
As I've said for the third time, Mrs. Amal, this is for the third time I say, the international community should be able to take decisive actions because the violations are outrageous, and of course against these settlements, against these outposts, against these encampments, against the forcing the Palestinians to be displaced and to get their houses destroyed. I think my answer is clear for all of the previous questions.
Yeah, yes. Dr. Wagih, concerning the Arab plan or Egypt's plan, Egypt started this plan of reconstruction of Gaza. In what stage is this plan now? When can it start? Until now, the Israeli side is violating the ceasefire agreement with strikes, with demolition of houses.
Yes, Egypt is very consistent in its proposal, and Egypt is preparing everything for this reconstruction. And Egypt, and even we have listened to the Turkish foreign minister today confirming what is needed. We need to go to the second phase of the peace plan agreed upon in Sharm el-Sheikh, and when we get into this second phase, I think Egypt is very ready to operationalize the reconstruction projects, of course.
Yes. Dr. Wagih, Egypt have been supporting the Palestinian question for decades. Could you shed light on this, please?
Of course, Egypt has been exerting a great deal of effort and mobilize the international community, put red lines, resisted all these kind of things. So we have answered this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information. Dr. Hassan Wagih, we really had the pleasure to have this phone with you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more updates on Nile TV International. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.